this movement is important to me because I have two children. I was raised Christian. I didn't have an option. I had to go to Sunday school. As I grew older, I had a lot of questions that couldn't be answered, and I was even deterred from doing my own research. So it's very important for me to break the cycle of misinformation. I'm in my 30s and I've only just learned about spirituality. I've only just learned that Africa was the basis of everything. I've only just learned that the Bible's been plagiarized so many times. I've only just learned that there was so many more saviors before Jesus. So it's just about me, giving my children the right information the best way I can possibly.
I think that this movement is going to work for a lot of women who are trapped and they are trying to find a way out. And as I said before, they come across this wall that's gray, white, and black, and they can't cross over. And ladies, let me tell you, you've heard that the grass is greener on the other side. Once you get over to the other side and you get the knowledge from this movement, forget the grass. There's tons of fruits on the trees that will open up your eyes. This is a movement like no other.
For me, it's correcting the wrongs, making things right, and exposing the lies. There are a lot of lies. And now that I've learned that the Bible are stories, whether they're true or not, a lot of our lives have been built on those truths or lack of it. So for me to take apart, coming from a Christian background, Seven Days Adventist background, I think there are a lot of people who needs to know this.
Well, my mom came to Britain in the 80s, and me and my sister was raised by my grandparents, and they're devout Christians. Like I said earlier, we had no option. We had to go to Sunday school. I was born into this religion. There's just no other way. And I got saved at 17 in a Pentecostal church. And I had a lot of questions that couldn't be answered. Eventually, I started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. And for me, that was wholeheartedly the truth. So I studied with them from about age 19 to late 20s. And I started doing research about them. And I came across a lot of disturbing things on YouTube. And it was just about them covering up, pedophilia and things like that in that religion. And I asked one of the sisters about it, and she didn't deny it. She said that, yes, there is stuff, that's going on, but they're not condoning it, but at the same time, they're not really, telling the police either. And that just raised a big red flag for me. And because I'm a parent, I don't want to be associated with anything like that, So I just started doing my own research. And thank God for YouTube, I've come across a lot of videos about, African spirituality and things. Like I said, all this is just recent for me. Because you're always deterred, don't go on, certain sites, don't do this, don't read that, don't associate with that person. But, I'm happy that I'm an open-minded person. So, yeah, I've stopped studying with them. And I've been on, a spiritual journey maybe about 4 years. Now my eyes have been opened tremendously, and I see the lies that's been exposed in this book called the Bible. And people are still taking these, stories, which is just allegory, but they're taking it as facts. So I have a huge issue with that. And I'm just on this journey to just expose it for what it is really, for me and my children, for my own sanity.
Well, basically, I have 2 different degrees from 2 different universities. With me, as I was young and little, up to the time, like I said, age 14, it's the same thing. We had to go to Sunday school, and mine was a little different because I actually caught comparing the Old Testament to the New Testament and telling them what I thought, and a lot of times I was punished. I would be the only one standing in the back of the room on one leg facing the wall. And so my mom is very strict with religion. And because of it, it has held her back. And I see it. I see it now. And we were raised a certain way. The woman's job is inside the house. We cook, we clean. The man's job is outside the house, which is not true. And like she said before, it's based on a bunch of lies. It's when you grow up and become an adult, you realize none of this is true. And so I said, okay, I'm going to free myself and liberate myself from this nonsense as soon as I become an adult. And maybe 7 months after I became an adult, I just left. I left home. I liberated myself. I've been on a spiritual journey ever since. I mean, that's kind of young, but that's what happened. Moved out of my mom's house 7 months after I graduated from high school. Been on a spiritual journey ever since. Never turned back. Never looked back. Just kept on going. And if there was anyone that I came across that needed me to explain what was going on, I explained what was going on, opened their eyes a little, and then set them on their spiritual journey, on their way.
For me, I think I was on a journey from the very beginning. I lived in England. I grew up in England, left when I was 7. I went to Jamaica, and I spent a couple of years with my grandmother until it was time to reunite with my mom. Then I came to Canada. But through the time being in Jamaica, it was tradition to go to church. We celebrated Easter. We celebrated all those things that were necessary, and also coming from a Methodist foundation. So I started as a Methodist because my grandmother was a Methodist, Anglican. And then when I got to Canada, I didn't really start going to church until I knew what I wanted. And then I started dabbling back into church because that's the way I was brought up. And I started being invited to Pentecostal churches, which was a whole other experience. And I loved it because it was so joyful, so energetic. And there was a lot of things for youth, young people. Then I participated until I went through another phase. I call it my rebellious phase, where I would dance, go to parties and stuff like that. And then I started questioning things. I went back to church. And then I hit a low place in my youth, in my young years, and then I committed my life to the Lord at 16. And then from there, I just kept going on this trajectory of knowing the Lord and being grounded in the Word, and started investigating even through the Bible. And I did find things that answered my questions. The Bible isn't all not truth. There are principles in there that teaches you about how to live, how to have wisdom, how to be a woman. Whether it's true or not, it helped me. And I found comfort because there were a lot of things in the world that I didn't find encouraging or comforting. There was a lot of negativity and, people just live for the pleasure of living. And I wanted something more that required me to be disciplined, that required me to be focused so I could manage my life. And I started adapting things that helped me, the wisdom. So I went to a 7 Days Adventist church. I've been invited, and I went, and I started asking more questions. Now the questions got really intense because now I didn't see how they worship. I didn't understand how they worship. They had a different style about them, but they also had another side that was very organized and, community oriented. But there was something missing for me because I came from a different, a different feature. A feature is the Pentecostal feature where, high energy, and I didn't see that there. I saw a lot of discipline, but yet they didn't really express the kind of joy I thought they should. Like they seemed to be more structured, and then I started visiting different churches, and the last church I went to, it sort of hit me in the face that they were practicing another doctrine. It was not really the Word. It was not really, we have a form of godliness, the Word says, but we deny the power. And that power comes from you really knowing God, not through church, not through somebody else, but your own personal life experience. And no one can tell me there is not a higher power out there, because I've been through some things, and I know if it wasn't for God, the Most High, I wouldn't have gone through them and come out on the other side in my right mind. So there were certain things that they did that bothered me, and they started showing pictures of the white Jesus, and I said, that's it. That's where it crossed the line, because they started now with the children. Whenever it was collection time, they would put up this blue eye, long hair, white Jesus to come down and bring their offerings. And I thought to myself, look at that. So I made an appointment to speak with the pastor of the church. And I started asking him questions, and he could not answer those questions. If our God is skin of bronze and eyes are flame of fire and things like that they have in the Word, why are you using a white Jesus every time the kids go down to give their offering? And he never answered. He couldn't answer. And that's when I walked away. I walked away, and I said, Lord, lead me and guide me into all truth, because I need to know, what is this all about out here, you know? I was conflicting. It was conflicting. It really had me upset. It was more upset on my part, why I allowed so much lies to take control of my world, but also more upset at the people who are teaching these things and have the freedom to do it, and without any sort of, accountability for the lives they are impacting. Because if you're going to a school that is, their school evangelicalism or whatever it is they call themselves, there are things they know, but they're not teaching, or they're told not to teach it because they're controlled by the Catholic Church. So if you are not someone who reads the Word, like Deuteronomy, Genesis, Leviticus, get in there deep for yourself and have a stock concordance, then you won't know those things. You'll probably just sit and listen to the pastor tell you a few scriptures and you walk away. But I used to read the stories because I liked some of the stories, and they comforted me and built my faith. But I also realized there's a lot of history in those stories, because it refers back to the beginning of time. And then Africa is always mentioned in the Bible. Ethiopia is always mentioned in the Bible. And now I realize they changed the maps. A lot of things was changed so that we could be held captive. And that's when I really start getting mad, because I started seeing the history part, and then I started seeing how they, throughout history, colonized us through this, from slavery, through the Word, through so many things. So it helped me to make a decision, and I'm not turning back in that way. I still have my faith. I still know my God, but not the God they told me that I should know. That's keeping me in bondage.
First, I went through the change, and then I went to the balance. That's how I did that. Basically, a lot of people give me strength and energy, especially when I know they're wrong, especially when I know I can point out their wrongs. And then it's like, I don't know how to explain it. You see this expression on their face of, oh God, here it comes. And then you just know, yeah, I'm going to take you there. I'm going to take you down this road, this path. I'm going to let you see this is the light. This is the true way. Because what you've been on is some bamboozle nonsense. I get a lot of my strength from myself, my inner self. I do a lot of meditation. I speak a lot of things into existence. I'll even go on a walk where there's a lot of trees out in nature, to the beach where there's water, where there's air. earth, wind, water, fire, whatever you want. I get a lot of strength sometimes from my son. Sometimes your family can help you get through this. Things that naturally make you laugh and smile to carry on with your day. That's how I do it. Everybody else is, they do something different. The knowledge that I'm gaining every day, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a boost of energy from the knowledge itself. Whether it's the word, whether it's from ancient text, whatever it is. Nothing but pure energy, pure energy. And I just let that flow and work for me. I'm half and half, if you want to know. One of my parents is American and one is Antiguan. And I am 42 years old, literally. I know, I'm up there in age with you. But like I said, I think it's because I don't know, maybe it's because of the fact that I've been on my own for so long. And even before then, a lot of people don't know this little secret about me. I didn't have a mom and a dad for 3 years. My dad was in the military. He's always traveling with the military. And my mom decided to get up one day and leave, and she went to another country. So I had to live with, aunties, grandmothers, stuff like that. And I was always independent, and that's one thing they noticed about me. I would be the one to go out there and prove something and do something to see if it worked. And I mean, it's so stupid. I even tried one time to prove that, what do they call, lizards can grow their tail back. And I proved it at the age of 9. I took the lizard's tail off and let it grow back, kept the lizard as a pet. I mean, I did silly things like that. But I've been, like I said, 7 months after I graduated high school. And it must be the things that I'm doing and the things that I'm eating. Because I have a specific type of diet. I like to eat a lot of leafy green stuff. I love fruits and vegetables. I'm not the healthiest, slimmest chick in the world, but I love to eat foods that are international. I try to stay away from a lot of fatty foods. I love to drink water, certain types of water too, not just the regular water that comes from tap. And I like to engage in conversations with people like yourself of like mind, knowledge, and intelligence, because that gives me a boost of energy as well. When you're surrounded by your own kind of people who are in a similar movement, just like this one, it helps lift up an average person. When you're feeling down, it lifts you up. It actually does. A simple saying that you can write something that inspires you and go back to it when you're feeling down and not happy and see what it does. It will lift you up. Go out in the sunshine. Have a great day. Start planting something. I don't know. I do different things, and it just gives me energy.
It's important to know things start, how we are supposed to play a role on this planet. We're spirit beings having a human experience, so we need to know who we are and what roles we have, and I think everyone is gifted with an assignment, and if you don't know your assignment, then you're not going to be effective.
There are women out there that we're going to reach out to. There are people we're going to reach out to. Each person, when they take the knowledge or the meaning, it's going to mean something different to each person based on what's going on with them. Their inner self, their inner child, their inner adult, they have to understand, like you said, and understand everything, and then take it for what they mean, personally to them and then in general. And then break information down and go from there. You can't build up if you don't start from the foundation. So we're going to have to lay the foundation down for them and then go from there and help these people out. But they have to first, I'm going to say, they're going to have to first want to come and listen. That's a part of building the foundation.
It's the right time, and I'm glad I was a part of it with other significant women here.
I'm just happy to be on board. I'm honored that you chose me because I'm really new to this journey. As you know, I'm still learning a lot, like every day. And I'm rubbish with technology and everything. I just feel like I don't deserve this. I feel like I don't belong in the group. But you've obviously seen something in me, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm happy to be on board, and I'm looking forward to see just how everything will reveal itself and pan out and everything. So thanks for this opportunity.
We are neither late nor are we early. We are on time, you guys, with this project. This is an eye-opener for a lot of people. We're going to change and balance in a lot of lives, and hopefully everyone can take something away with this and improve their circumstances in their natural life and move forward. We are doing the right thing. I know you said, you don't think that you deserve to be here. Trust me, we're supposed to be here. This is a collaboration and a collective. We're all supposed to be here. But we are all here, so I'm happy to be working with everyone.